Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Sorry about that. I just something's weird today. Hopefully everybody can see and hear me okay. Let me pull up the chat window and see who's here. Um, oh, okay, Stephen. I'll look for it. I know, right? 16K ISO. And Garrett's here, Matt's here, Jeff Painter, Jason Palmer, Robert 809. Hello. That's a new name. I don't think I've seen you here before, so welcome. And John Yutze, Joni's here, Plato. Awesome. So good. Glad to see everybody. Please chime in and make sure you can see and hear me okay. And there's no... Okay, audio video is good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So today this is the photo editing live streams that I try to do at least once a week. And you can submit your photos in, and I edit them here live using usually Olympus Workspace or Lightroom. But today I'm going to be using Photolab 4 for most of the images. And what's this? Mega? Oh, that's not for me. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I downloaded the free trials for like DXO Prime. I think that's what it's called. Or PureRaw, sorry, DXO PureRaw and Photolab 4 and all the film packs. And I've been kind of, I went out and I took some pictures and I've been editing those as well as some of my older ones. And I was really, really impressed with the kind of noise reduction and detail and the colors that I was getting from Photolab with the DXO Prime built in for noise reduction. So I thought I'd do a special edition today where, I asked you to send in your high ISO images. They didn't have to be high ISO, but that's kind of the emphasis today. So I'm still getting used to using the Photolab, so it's a little awkward for me to get around still. So just bear with me if I'm having a little trouble finding the exact right slider or setting that I want to use for your image, because I do try to edit and give some feedback to how I think the image can be improved. At least for me, if I were there, I would make some suggestions about how I would have taken the shot differently as well, whether it's in the settings or the composition or the lighting, whatever it might be. I try to be constructive, and it's okay to disagree. It's no big deal. It's all very subjective, right? What each of us see in a scene and what we want to focus on. So that being said, Steven says, I've been using it for months. Brilliant Pro. It really is. I don't know if it's because I don't normally edit my photos. I try to use straight out of camera JPEGs. And this is the first time really in a while that I've actually tried to edit my images. And I'm like, wow, look at that. I mean, I've always liked Lightroom and Workspace, and I didn't worry about noise and all of that. Particularly when I do for my personal stuff. For my professional stuff, I have to use Lightroom. Photolab 4 is still no replacement for the Lightroom Photoshop combination, because I can do multiple layers and merge things together, align things, all of the fancy stuff Photoshop can do that I haven't found in Photolab 4 or really any other program, to be honest, that can layer multiple images together in a very smooth workflow and do a good job. The other thing is, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, like I said, I got a photo walk I'm going to be publishing hopefully tonight. So after the stream, I'm going to finish editing. I'm about halfway through, where you're going to see images from my photo walk that I used editing with Photolab 4. And the images are okay, but the processing is really amazing. So let's go ahead and get into the Photolab. I just have to rearrange my screens, and I need to. This room got really hot all of a sudden. Let me turn on my fan. I think because I opened the door to let Ellie out and I didn't close it. Okay, so let me arrange my screens real quick. That's Lightroom. I don't know. Is Captain Craig here by any chance? I don't know if your screen name is the same as the file name, but for some reason I wasn't able to load that into Lightroom or Photolab. It may not have uploaded correctly. It's a corrupt file, so try and upload it again if you're here, and I'll edit that. Oh, it's 88 in upstate. Yeah, I don't know what it is here. I know it's in the 80s today, but I don't know exactly. But you know, in my house, I rarely use air conditioning or anything like that. At least not until it gets really hot, like in the 90s. Just because I try to save electric as much as I can. Oh, hey, Captain Craig. Yeah, I was trying to download your image. Let me see. Try and upload it one more time and see if it comes in so that I can edit it for you. But right now I'm going to upload it as a DNG maybe. But try both. I'll try TIFF and DNG. If TIFF doesn't work, I'll try DNG. They released a RAW developer as a standalone. Really, man, I'm just so impressed with it. I've never been, and I am cheap when it comes to buying things. Anything that's not like a camera body or lens, even lenses. Sometimes I don't spend money unless I really have to for my personal stuff. My professional work, I get the best there is, but for my personal stuff, I don't want to spend a lot of money, and I wouldn't have Lightroom Photoshop if it wasn't for my, paid work. But DxO, I'm thinking going full on elite package for right now. It's on sale for $269. And I do have like an affiliate link down below if you want to try and download just the PureRaw by itself, or you can pick whatever else they have available for free trials. I downloaded the Photolab, the perspective thing, and the film pack, and the deep prime. And between all of those, I think at a minimum, you should get the Photolab 4 if you're not using anything else. Because Photolab 4, it's about $60 more at the current discount, but it includes the DXO PureRaw software, but it gives you some additional control, like controlling the sharpening, controlling the luminance, and some of the bokeh stuff. I mean, it gives you a few more controls that you don't get when you buy PureRaw alone. And I think that minor difference, it's not minor, it's actually pretty significant, is worth the extra $60. So you could pay $90 for the deep prime alone, which is awesome, and you can probably get by with no issues. But if you're really into pixel peeping and trying to squeeze out every last little bit of detail, the Photolab 4 gives you that control that's very hard to duplicate in Lightroom. I'm sure it can be done. I get close, but it's just so much easier in Photolab. And it has some other controls I'm finding that are very, very interesting in how they adjust the lighting. They have something called, well, we'll see. I can't remember the names of everything, but controlling the lighting in the scene and adjusting for exposure is pretty impressive too. Yeah, the Elite, right? The Elite package. It includes like Photolab 4, the film packs, and the perspective thing. The perspective thing, I wasn't quite as impressed with. I feel like the one in Photoshop or in Lightroom is better. But that's that has some features in it that, I mean, the main feature that it has that Lightroom really is a little bit weaker on is adjusting for the wide angle distortion. So as the images get wider, the sides of the image get elongated. So, you know, like the recent picture of the president with the other former president, Carter, being squeezed together. They looked huge on the ends because that's wide angle distortion. They looked like giants next to the center of the frame. And so DXO Prime is supposed to fix, or DXO, whatever it's called, is supposed to fix that. I should download that specific image and see how it does. But I can tell you that for the images that I do in my real estate photography, which are all, I use a fisheye lens, it didn't really do enough. It's easier for me to just crop in a little bit, which I do anyway, than to try to fix those edges. But for some, they might find it useful, but I feel like it's something that should just be built into Photolab 4 without having to get a separate module. It because it's not that impressive, you know. It works, but it's not as nice as the Lightroom. And you know, Lightroom and Photoshop. Well, let's talk about Lightroom only. Has some features that I think are more intuitive, easier to use, and can get better results in some cases. But anyhow, let's get to your images. there wasn't too many coming in today, so yeah, I don't know what the raw developer alone is. Is that the DXO PureRaw that you're referring to? Because that works really well. But like I said, the Photolab, I think if it's in your budget, you should definitely spring the extra $60 and get the Photolab 4 Elite. Because there's two versions of Photolab 4. There's the Elite and then there's the regular. You get the Photolab 4 Elite with the DXO Prime built in. It's worth the extra $60. Okay. Oh, hey, David. How are you? So again, I got my affiliate link below for a free trial download, but the 30% off deal ends on May 31st, so any day now. So I need to purchase it myself because I'm using the free trials myself right now. So I need to purchase it myself here soon. I might do that this weekend before the deal expires. Okay, let me arrange my screens and get started here. Okay, that's that. Very good. And okay, so I need to go to screen number 3. Turn myself on. There we go. Awesome. Yeah, so there's Captain Craig. For some reason it just wouldn't load. I don't even know what it's an image of. Let me see if it shows up in the drive. This one here by Jeff Painter. Jeff Painter, you have an image. For some reason, that's not loading right. Let me see if it's in here. There's John. Yeah, Jeff Painter's image is not right either. Maybe it's just a file naming convention. Let me rename it to just .orf. No. So Jeff Painter, your image also didn't upload properly. I'll just show you. As you can see, this one here, it uploaded as a .pp3, which is kind of weird. And then here is, let's see. Where did Captain Craig go? Captain Craig, your squirrel image shows here, but for whatever reason, I couldn't load it into Lightroom or Photolab 4. But it previews here fine. This must be the embedded JPEG on the file, but let's go ahead and start here at the top with the ones I can look at. So I have one here by Ivan, and over here on the left is the exit data. So this is an ISO 4000 at f4 1/1000th of a second. And so I assume you had the in shutter speed high because in case the bird took off, you would still be able to freeze the action. But for little birds like that, you actually need to be at 1/2000th of a second when they're that small to really freeze them, like in flight. So you could have probably dialed in, well, you dialed in plus 2/3 EV, you're 210 millimeters, so everything looks good on your settings. But yeah, you'd have been at ISO 8000 to get 1/2000th of a second. And that's getting way up there, right? So let's see. Why isn't that zooming in? Let me try and zoom. Sorry. Like I said, I'm still kind of getting used to the... Is it because I'm not full screen? Oh, there it goes. All right. So if we look close, we can see the image is just a tiny bit soft, partially because of the high ISO. Partially, I think there might have been a little lost focus, slightly off. It's hard to tell, but it looks like it's front focused just a tiny bit. But first thing I'm going to do is just go to this detail thing and click the Deep Prime. And Deep Prime is only going to preview in this little window here on the right. But hopefully you can see that it really cleaned up the noise quite a bit. And let me just go over back to the subject here. Now, the next thing we can do is, let's see if there's anything here. No, I don't need any of that. Keep dead pixels. I probably don't need anything there. We'll back the luminance off a tiny bit. What happened to... Okay, let's go over to color. What happened to my sharpening tool? I thought it was right here. There's the unsharp mask. They have a detail. Moray repair. Yeah, it reduces the noise automatically, but there was a detail slider right underneath the Deep Prime. Where did it go? How am I not seeing it? I mean, I can use unsharp mask, but that's not what I've been doing all morning with my own images. That's lighting, special effects, no. It should be right here. Workspace menu, all right. Detail. Okay, DXO Advanced. I've been working all morning, and it was right underneath the frickin' D Prime menu. Yes, Viewpoint. Viewpoint is the one I don't really recommend getting, but you get it with the Elite package. If you buy like that with the film pack, there's some kind of deal. Anyway. All right, I'll just use the unsharp mask. I know how to use it. I'm going to try and increase the detail. I don't really need threshold. No. Okay, for lighting, I'm just going to click the smart lighting. It's not so bad, honestly, Plato. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to it. So there's smart lighting. Let me back off a little bit. And Clearview Plus. Clearview Plus acts a little bit like a polarizing filter. And then for color, I think we're good. Need to do anything here. And let's just crop in. And I'll do a square crop. Okay, I'll check it, Jeff. So what I'm going to do is have this little branch come down to the corner. Put the bird kind of towards the center. I think that'll look good. All right, let me export that to Lightroom. And it takes about 30 seconds to you can see the little timer spinning thing here. All right, it's done. We'll go back to Lightroom. And let me synchronize the folder one more time. Okay. All right, so there is the new one. And I think we can do just a little bit more on in Lightroom. Let's go to it's confusing going back and forth here. Let me try a little bit of sharpening this way. That's a noise reduction. Okay. Oops, I over sharpened a little bit down here. Let me pull that off. Yeah, John. The DXO Prime PureRaw, the separate module is that workflow is a little bit different. but the results are very, very similar. But I think that's the best I can do there, and maybe add a little bit of vignette. Oh, you guys know I like my vignette. Feather that. And there we have it. Let me see if I can show you the original. Because we can do this compare. It doesn't. I can do it in Lightroom, sorry. Let's go to the folder library. So this is the adjusted one on the left and then the original on the right. And if I zoom in, I'll zoom in on this one. I mean, you can see it's a huge difference. I mean, the image is a little bit soft to begin with. Like I said, I think the focus was slightly missed. But my God, it's just amazing how much it cleaned it up. And then if you just look at the image as in its normal size, you know, I think it looks nice. Like, it really recovered it really well, particularly all the noise and everything. Okay. Yeah, the vignette is a classic. Oh, hey, Narrowband, how are you? It's Ben from Narrowband. Okay, let's go to the next one. And let's see, I did that one. So we have one here from Garrett. So you can see this one is pretty noisy if I back out. So I'm going to apply the noise reduction here. I'll just click that. And this image is at what? ISO SLT A58, ISO 16,000. My goodness, 1/40th of a second. So if you're on a tripod, we shouldn't have any image blur or motion blur. But that cleaned it up pretty nice. And then, I don't know what happened to my sharpening tool. I was using it all morning. But yeah, I don't get it. Okay, one other thing I can do. I'm going to do a little bit more than the auto setting. And let me look. Yeah, I think we're good now. So we'll just export that. I'll go back into Lightroom. Wait for that to finish while this little spinning thing. Dang it, I wouldn't even need to go in the Lightroom if I had the right sharpening tool there. Did it finish? Yeah, it finished. So synchronize. And go to folder and library. All right, so there's the cleaned up image. And then I will do just a little bit more. I'm going to click auto. See what I mean? Lightroom does a really good job. DXO probably would have done about the same. I'm throwing a little bit of sharpening. Not that it really needs any more. Let me punch in, pull off this a little bit. Okay, and then for contrast, I just like a little bit more contrast, a little more shadow. And I'm gonna mess with the colors a little bit, like so. And there we go. So let's compare it to the before and after. And I'll punch in. Let me sync them first. All right. All right. Detail, go to the detail and then detail under it as a subfolder. I'll look again. But there's the before and after. Well, I'll swap them. But my goodness, you know, it's like, I just can't believe how well this, you know, there's some sharpening artifacts that I added in Lightroom, but just straight out of the deep prime, it's pretty amazing. Okay, so let's go to the next image. Oh wait, no, you don't need Lightroom. I was trying to avoid Lightroom in here, but I lost my sharpening tool other than the unsharp mask. So somebody was saying, go to the detail, go to the detail and under, go to detail and then detail under it as a subfolder. Yeah, this is detail. So there's CA, there's the noise. I don't know why I'm not seeing it now. Live review. Workspace. Back to standard. I just don't see it. There's advanced settings, dead pixels. It was right under here. Double click the detail icon. This one. All that does is toggle back and forth. Double click the detail icon. Will show all tools. Are you talking about this icon I got my mouse on right now? So when I double click all it does is toggle between everything. So these are the basic tools. Viewpoint and film pack, crop. Yeah, it's not FX. This is film grain and vignetting and all of that. I never went into this when I was working with my own pictures. So crop, distortion, horizon, perspective. Yeah, it's not. It's got to be under the detail tab. So there's CA, and that's, we don't care about that. Deep prime, luminance. We clicked advanced. Moray red eye repair. It's not under repair. Unsharp mask. I mean, I can always do something here. That's not what I was doing before. The optics mod, I assumed it's Steve Page is asking if I tried the optics mod. I assume that's what gets loaded in. Where is that? I saw it somewhere. It was, I think it's under geometry. It was under geometry. Now it's not there. It's not under color or lighting. All right, I don't understand. Are my film packs still here? Yeah, the film packs are still here. But perhaps, yeah, I mean, I was working, what is, this is this is an Olympus image. No, this is a Sony image. It shouldn't matter, but okay, I'm gonna go to one of my images. Let me, let's see, I was doing the ship. Oh, look, when I pull it up now you see it says lens sharpness. Oh, that's right. I think somehow the, thank you, Steve, or who mentioned that? Install the mod for the lens. That's what's missing. Thank you. So let me see if I can do that. I thought they installed everything. So we'll go back here. Yeah, they didn't get installed. Let me install all of these. There we go. Ah, I don't know why I didn't do that when I first pulled up the folder, but okay. We'll give that a second. And you know, Ben, I tried this on one of the astro photos we took together when I was up there on a single image. It worked really well. All right, let's look at this again. It's still not there. How about this image? Let's just go to the next one. Let's see, this is done with Topaz denoise. And we were at ISO 20,000. Wow. That's pretty nice. So I think Jason sent this in as a reference of what Topaz denoise can do. And what I heard about Topaz denoise versus the PureRaw or Deep Prime is people are saying that the Deep Prime did a little better job with like skin tones and people's faces. But I think, you know, there's adjustments you can make in Topaz denoise and not Deep Prime, but in Topaz denoise, there's settings you can change to adjust it slightly so that you get virtually the same result with Topaz denoise as you do with Deep Prime. So my advice would probably be just get the cheaper of the two, or whichever one has a better workflow for you. Because right now the workflow in Photolabs 4 is, when you stay in Photolabs 4, is not bad. You just have to kind of get used to where the sliders are and all the tools, and then like I'm running into this issue, right? However, I haven't downloaded Topaz stuff yet. I downloaded one thing, but I haven't really played with it much. And I'll do a comparison between the two once I get a little better workflow. I was practicing all morning. I don't know why right now I'm like all awkward here. Okay, let's go to another image and edit. So yeah, so this one's at ISO 6400 f9 1640. If you have all good settings, and you can see the noise here. If I just punch in on the eye, let's click on Deep Prime. I'm going to try and stay in Photolab 4 this time because I have my sharpening tools here. But look how I clean that up really fast. And I will just add the sharpening. This is what I was doing all morning, just sliding the sharpener thing a little bit. Maybe add a little more detail. And let's zoom in. I think I did too much. I think that looks good. Okay, let's go over to the lighting channel or tab. And I'll just click the smart lighting. And we'll give it a little bit more push. Now what the DXO smart lighting does is it basically pushes shadows and preserves highlights, or vice versa, depending on the image, without having to adjust several sliders at the same time. Because in Lightroom, you know, we have our highlights and shadows and blacks and midtones. We have these same sliders in Lightroom. But doing smart lighting sort of controls all of these at the same time. So if I go too far over, what's going to happen is the image is going to have less contrast a little bit. It doesn't show as well in this image, but we don't need to do that much. And then clear view is just like I said, just it's kind of like a clarity button. I think that works really well. And then let me go to color and let's give this a nice film look. We'll pick a negative film. How about a Fuji Pro? Oh, how about Ektar? Ektar is always, no, that's a little dark, isn't it? Elite. Oh, I like this color. Okay, so this is the film simulation. That's a separate module. And then, like I said, I'm just using the trial. And let's do a little bit of, let me just adjust it slightly. We'll automatically crop here. And that's fine. I just want to take a little bit more off the top. And yeah, that looks good. So I don't have to do much, right? I like the contrast and everything in here. So let's just do a quick compare. I haven't figured out how to get this to go full screen or how to close this window, this bar down here. Oh, there. I guess you do that. But there's the before and after. And if we punch in, oh, I have to export it for you to see the actual result. So let me do that. Oh, I lost my film bar. So export to disk. Because what we're seeing here doesn't show the DXO prime results. It's just showing a preview without the denoising and everything applied. I have to actually export it to show you. Teething problems, yeah. Click the big square top menu for full screen. Oh, this. Okay. But like I said, it doesn't matter because the DXO prime, the deep prime editing is not showing here. So I have to actually export it and show you. Where's what happened to my film strip? There it is. So I think these two, well, I don't know how to compare two images side by side, but I can do it in Lightroom. That's the one thing I should have figured out how to do before I started the stream. Maybe you know, Steve, how to compare two images side by side, like separate images. Go to folder. All right. Here is Let me swap them. Okay, so the before is on the left, the after is on the right. But look at the difference. I mean, it's shocking. All of the detail that kind of came back. And I didn't really add a lot of sharpening. I could probably do a little bit more in Lightroom because I'm still a little more comfortable with this. But what's really nice is the software can sharpen up the details, remove all of the noise without messing up the background. Because a lot of times when you start to sharpen, the bokeh in the background gets kind of gritty and messed up. And yeah, I can't believe the difference it makes. But I think that looks really good. You know, and that was an ISO something, I forget. That was an ISO 6400. All right, let's go to, where is it? Photolab. Yes, next to the big square box is, well, that's the cropping tool. Okay, let's go to the next one. Yes, I didn't load the correct lens mod, but we should be good now. All right, here we have ISO 200. So this is a straight up edit. And what I'll do is, basically it's a reflection shot here. And I'm going to see if there's any noise anywhere. I don't think there will be in this image. But I found that even on ISO 200, you know, sometimes in the shadow areas, you still have noise, even at ISO 200. So I still applied the deep prime filter on there, and it cleans it up nicely. But let's go ahead and let's do some sharpening first. Like so. And as far as what's in the image, I kind of like this little stick down here. Let me get rid of this. See if I can bring that in a little more. Nope. If I do unsharp mask, I think I'm not sure what edge offset is. Oh, Arnie says, click the compare in the toolbar above. Compare original versus correction by click. Yes, that I know. But what I was trying, the problem is the compare tool doesn't show the deep prime filter applied. I hate to call it a filter, but that's all I can think of. It just shows like the editing without the deep prime. The deep prime, you have to actually export it to see the final result. Because the only thing you get with the deep prime is this little window here on the right of what deep prime is doing. So I'll just do an HQ. That's not going to do much. Okay. Hi, Corna. How are you? Let's see. And for the lighting, if I do the Clearview Plus, that'll show a little bit more. You know, like I said, it acts a little bit like a polarizer or clarity. And that really brought in, you know, now you can see under the water a little bit. And that's what I mean by it works a little bit like a polarizer. So I'm going to focus here on the right side because everything on the left is kind of just the same thing as what's on the right. So I'm going to focus on the right because this has one extra thing here of interest, which is this little twig sticking out. So I'm going to crop in there. Let's do 5x4 vertical. And we don't need so much sky because there's not really any clouds. I can come up a little bit this way. And we'll just focus on the reflection in the water. And let's do a little bit of correction here. Crop in again. Okay. I can do a little bit on the color. Let me pick Ultra. Yeah, that looks good. And I don't need a vignette. I can do a little bit more. See if I can separate the colors a little bit. Big square to the left. I assume you mean this, right? Side-by-side preview. I mean, that's the before and after. But it doesn't show the cropping that I did. What's this? Compare. Not geometry. There we go. So there's the before and after. And then let's see, does full screen? Full screen just shows one image. But okay, so, for this image, when you do reflection shots, the options are in the reflection, do you want to do something that's more, what's the word I'm looking for? Surreal, but not surreal. What do they call it? Dang it. It's like a common photography term. Abstract. Like if you want to do something more abstract, you can kind of focus in on just the reflection part here. And then turn it back upside down. But I didn't think that would work too well. So what I did is basically I just did a vertical and cropped in and just focused on this one twig here and the reflection of the trees. And that's about all we can do here. But overall, the image is sort of, I don't know, it's just a little bit plain. There's not really any main subject. The reflection itself doesn't have really a good abstract view of the trees. So without doing some hardcore editing like in a paint program, I think this is all we can do here. Okay, so that's that from Image Writer. This one loaded wrong. Let's see, we have one here from Mattis. And this is an ISO 3200, 1/60th of a second, EM10 Mark II with a 75 to 300. Yeah, this lens, you're pretty much stuck with high ISO because it's very slow lens, right? But we have a little beaver down here in the back. So let's go ahead and click denoise. Yeah, really, I'm really impressed, Steve. Trust me, I'm not going to drop a couple $100 for it unless it really impressed me. I'm definitely buying this. I just thought I'd be more ready than I was when I started this, because I set this stream up a few days ago, but it's taken me a little more work. So I'm going to crank in some more detail. I'm going to back off. Let's see. This part here is where I think the most interesting part is, this claw. And what I like about, like I said, when you do the sharpening this way, it doesn't really affect the background. It doesn't add like artifacts in the background. It's really nice. I need to learn how to use these sliders a little better down here, but that's, and like I said, when we're previewing, we're only previewing the noise reduction in the right. So I'll export it and then we'll do a comparison. Okay, as far as, let's work on the lighting now. And I'll just click the smart lighting and we'll crank up this a little bit more. Let's crop into just the where the subject is. And I think just frame it just so that this one log on the bottom is, maybe get this one twig out. So I'm getting rid of this branch up here and just using the bottom log here to frame. Now you saw Ellie today. That's cool. All right, so I think that's a good crop there. It's too bad all these twigs are in front. Now let's work with the color. I think Stactar is usually pretty contrasty, or no. Let me go with Portrait's not great. Agfa Vista. No. Fuji Pro or Fuji Rella. No. Superior. That's okay. I need to warm up the image a little bit. So let's put in cloudy, or let's try shade. I like cloudy a little better, but I'll just manually warm it up a little bit. And a little magenta. And let's add some vignette. Where's the vignette slider? Here it is. Back this off a little bit. Let me work with this lighting a little bit more. Okay, let's export that. Oh, John Truman, hello. It's okay. It was pretty much me just jibber jabbering for the first 15, 20 minutes anyway. I didn't really start editing until much, much later. Okay, where's Steve Page? You said I can compare images side by side? Because I want to compare these two images. I've highlighted them. If I right click, can I compare them? Paste, paste, create. No. If I do compare, that's not it. Well, there's the before and after for the editing that I did, but you can't really see the difference in the prime. So I'm going to do what I've been doing, just synchronize this folder. Go to folder. And then we can compare them here. So there's the before and then the after on the right. And I did this all in Photolab. But look at how much. Let me line these up a little bit. My God, look at the difference here. And I'll zoom in. That's 100% there. But look at the difference in the noise. Oh my God, it's just amazing. And like I said, once I kind of get really going with Photolab 4, I'll be able to do these edits a lot faster. I'm just still fumbling a little bit with the Photolab, but it's pretty amazing. Yeah, the Nick collection I'm considering also, but I need to kind of watch. You know, you can get carried away when you start buying stuff, right? But anyhow, I think, like, look at the detail in the claw here, which was, to me, the most interesting part of the image. I mean, I could have cropped it in this close, but God, it's just, I just can't believe how well it works. Okay, let's go to the next one. We have one here, which is ISO 3200 with an EM10 Mark II. Looks like you nailed focus. What lens were you using? 40 to 150, the Plastic Fantastic. Awesome. This is a great lens. All right, so I'll do my usual here. Let me just click the deep prime. And if I move this over to here, let's do the sharpening. All right, let's work with the color. It's a little bright. Let me work with the lighting first. Let me see what smart lighting will do for me. Yeah, that's good. Now I'll see if I can bring the highlights in a little bit more than the smart lighting. And clear view, I don't think I want to do that with this one, because clear view will just make the background even busier, and we don't need it. I like to use clear view on waters and sky, but on woodland in the background, I just try to ignore it. Okay, let's consider a crop. I'm going to crop out this blurry branch on the left. Okay, crop. And I've been really into this 4x5 crop lately. Let's crop in right there. That's too much. Okay, good. And I think we're good. Maybe a little more contrast. So I can do that here. It automatically picked a +7 on the micro. I like a little more in my images. Actually, let me pull the blacks in. No. Just a little bit there. And fine contrast. Good. And then I'm going to warm this image up a little. Maybe I want to tilt it a little bit too. Okay. And I'm going to warm this. Well, let's just apply a film. And I don't think portrait would be right on this, but let me see. Yeah. No. Oh, that's awful. Color positive. Fuji Provia. Ektachrome. Oh, that's interesting. Ostia. Oh, that's pleasing. Okay. Add a little vignette. Okay. And finally, a little more lighting. Slightly more tilt. Oops, now the trees are crooked. Okay, I think I'm done. So let's export this, and then we'll compare it in Lightroom. Because right now I just don't know how to compare it directly in Photolab. There's got to be a button or something. Yeah, I'm with you, David. The data asset management in Lightroom is pretty awesome. I don't think I'll ever be able to let go just for that. I mean, there's things in Photoshop that I can't let go of either. But okay, that's done. Let's take a look at synchronize this again. PL 2012-001. I need to get rid of that real quick. Okay. Let's compare this one. So we'll go to the folder. And let me zoom in here. But again, I'm just punching in just so you can kind of see the amazing job that the Photolab 4 with the Deep Prime is doing it, taking out the noise without destroying the details. And I mean, look how much sharper the eye is. And then, let me lock these now. And then the feather detail here. Look at this stick. May have overdone it slightly on the luminance or the lighting here. But yeah, I'm just so impressed. I mean, look at the background. The background is buttery smooth. Like, let me pick something. I mean, it's just amazing, the difference here. This is really, really hard to do for me in Lightroom, to be able to clean up the noise, bring back the detail without painting and brushing individually out everything in the bokeh. Now, supposedly Lightroom's coming out with something, or Photoshop with some kind of neural AI thing, but for now, this is it for me. Okay, let's go. Yeah, isn't that amazing though? I just can't believe my eyes. Let's go to the next one. And then I'll check my Google Drive folder to see what else you guys have downloaded. I can do this all day, like Captain America says, right? All right, this one here is a ISO 800, so not bad. 1/1000 from John Follows. And let's see. So the noise is not bad. And this is where DXO Prime is really going to shine. Because it'll really, like, if you look at the shadow area down here, look at the noise down in here. It's just, you know, it's horrendous, right? Even though we're not at that high of an ISO. But I like the composition overall. We're going from one corner to the next. I don't know where you got this shot from. And the train is leaning a little bit. I suppose that's natural because it is kind of a turn. And sometimes the tracks are tilted a little bit when trains go in a turn. But normally bridges aren't tilted like that. But maybe this one is. All right, so I don't think I need to crop at all on this. I'm going to leave it as is. I'm just going to do... Is my audio still buzzing? Are you talking about my audio or just my mental state? Okay, so there's Deep Prime applied. And I'm going to punch in. Now you have to punch into at least 70 or 80% to be able to see the sharpening slider in action. I'm just going to crank that up. Okay, and then let's go to the lighting module and just add smart lighting. Let me see if I intensify this some. No, that's not It's not really helping much. How about clear view? Oh, I like that. We'll just pull back the highlights a little bit. And then I'm going to warm it up, maybe with just the film sim. Yeah, I like that. But I'm gonna add a little more warmth in the white balance. Okay. Maybe just a slight tilt on the on the image. I want the train to look like it's coming towards, so I'm going to put this line into the one corner if I can. Yeah. It's not perfect, but what I'm trying to do is this train track here is a little bit off. So the center between the train tracks, I'm trying to make this bottom right corner be the center of the train tracks, just like up here to the top left corner. So we come in at the center and we exit at the center. So that's why I'm tilting it a little bit. My mental state. This is just coffee. This is not anything else. It's not spiked coffee, Steve. All right. Let's export that and do a side by side. Yeah, Raho, how you doing? Yeah, it's interesting because all of these third-party softwares are competing now, right? I think Topaz was first. Well, I don't know, but there was Topaz, there's On1, there's DXO. They're all fighting for the top spot in like noise reduction, it seems like, and then other features like the gigapixel stuff, which I don't have any use for. But all right, let's do a quick comparison. We'll synchronize the folder. Swap these. So over here on the left is the original. Over here on the right, did I crop this 4:5? That's weird. Oh no, I think John must have cropped this in camera. That's why it's showing. But okay, either way, let's compare. And my emphasis today is really just to show off Photolab or Deep Prime or DXO PureRaw. It's all pretty much the same thing when it comes to cleaning up the image. But even an ISO 800 image, and you can really clean the heck out of it. It's pretty impressive. And then, like I was saying, look at the noise down here in the brick wall when I was, let me zoom in a little more. When we were looking at this brick wall, or stone wall, whatever this, look how much it cleaned the noise up there compared to the original. So like I said, just color me impressed. It's just shocking. Look at the roof line on this train. Over here, it's very soft. Are you okay? Really? My dog. She, I think she hurt her leg running outside. Nothing major, just a scratch, but she's nibbling on it now. But anyway, back to the thing. You can read the text in here. I mean, I I'm just shocked, and I like the film simulations. Look what it did to the colors, you know, especially the oranges here. A little bit of that's because I warmed up the white balance, but it's shocking. All right, that was the last one in from the ones I downloaded before I started. So let me see what else has come in. Let's try this again. That's Captain Craig's. Download this one. Download that one just in case. And I think I have these. Okay, so there's 3 more there. This is the one I thought you were going to send again, Captain Craig, but we can work with the bird one. Okay. So, yeah. This is, yeah, this one didn't work, this one didn't work, but this one worked finally. Oh, this one's not working either. Let me see if Lightroom will pull it up. Lightroom is pulling it up just fine. And then I can edit these. Let me check. The image cannot be processed because since it was taken with a camera that's not supported by DXO. Oh, interesting. So what camera are you using? Sony IC, I don't know which one this is. Must be an oldie. Yeah, it's just too old. Or it's not in the database. But I can edit this one real quick. Let me just rotate it. And crop in. Let's do a square crop. Okay, let me punch in. I can do a little noise reduction with the color mainly. Right about there. And we'll do some sharpening. Scout the background. And we'll do a little bit of luminance. Okay, and let's add a little contrast. You can see Lightroom, I'm a little more fluid here. Just a slight dehaze, some clarity. Let me, before I do texture. Yeah, texture is not, yeah, just a touch there. And clean that up. And the highlights. A little bit on the shadows. And then the colors, let's pull these back, push this up. Okay. Get a little bit more on the noise. Make sure I don't soften this up too much. I'm not sure, DeMorgan. I'm sure it does. I bet Steve Page knows, but I'm just getting, I've only been using it the last couple of days. And I'm going to warm this up a bit. Right there. And then just a tiny bit of vignette. Oh, this is the wrong one. Sorry. Right here. Bring it in. Okay. The Sony A1 does not appear, so I guess eventually it'll get there. All right, so that's my edit there. Let's do it before and after. We'll punch in, see what kind of job I did manually. Denoising and sharpening. Okay, it's fair. A little bit too much luminance. So I lost some of the fine details here. So I guess I should back that off a little bit. I back this off some. See if that brought back some of the finer details. Give that a moment to render. There it goes. It's okay. I'm seeing sharpening artifacts, and this is where the D prime and DXO is amazing. It really handles all of this really well. But anyway, yeah, I think it looks really good. Thanks, Captain Craig. I think. Oops. Where did it go? Why isn't that showing? I think that's an awesome shot, though. It really is. Wow. Okay. Let's go to. Looks like there's another one here. Somebody sent a little fox. Oh, let me check in Photolab. What was this taken with? EM1 Mark II. So that should be in Photolab. There it is. All right, this one is from Jeff Painter. And we're at ISO 6400. So I am going to just click on D prime. Oh, it's a little misfocused. It looks like it focused on the back here in the cars. So the image is going to have I'm going to have a hard time with this image anyway. And I don't have this lens profile loaded. So what did I do last time? I think what I did is I just went to a different folder and came back. And then yeah. Let me load the lens profile in. I took a picture, gosh, about 2 years ago. It had a fox in it that I didn't really notice until later. But it was down in the corner, just a little fox walking across my landscape. All right, so where did that go? All right, let's, now we can do some sharpening. I'm going to back off the luminance a little bit. Let's see. See how we're doing here. Okay, now let's do some lighting. Clear view, we'll crank this up a little more. Ooh, too much. Be right there. And let's crop in. Don't want to crop in too much because there's not a lot of detail left. But I think I just want to crop in so I don't have so many cars in the shot. I still want to have some context. Maybe I can't avoid it. Let me try that. Yeah, that works. Okay, let's work with the color a tiny bit. I'm going to try. I like that ultra color. No. No. How about a Kodak? No. Portra. Okay, that works. And we'll just throw in a tiny bit of vignette. Because this car on the right's a little bit bright. Let's warm it up slightly. Why did it do that? A shot. Oh. There. Yeah, it was so dark. Yeah, I've been there. Where you can't see anything through the EVF even. You have to turn on live view boost. And then Arnie says, click on the little picture up to the right of the camera in the green with download error and fix your lens sharpening for actual camera and lens. Okay. So I can do that without going in and out of the folder, I think is what you're saying, right? So click on the little picture on the up to the right. I'm not sure. I'll look for that. I know there's a way probably to add the corrections without having to do what I did. Oh, just white balance to the road strip? Maybe, yeah. Oh, where did my white balance thing? I can try. Let's try this one. Yeah, that's a bit too cold. That's what the camera did. The camera white balance, I like them a little bit warmer. Something like that. Okay, I think I'm done. So let me export this. And I'll do a side. I have to do it in Lightroom, the side by sides, because I don't know how to do it in Photolab yet. Oh, it's not done yet. The picture in the menu. click on the little picture up to the right, a camera in the green. Maybe you're referring to this in the thumbnails. I'll figure it out. All right, let's go to let's synchronize this folder again. All right, so the before on the left, the after on the right. We'll just punch in. I'll lock it here. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. You can see that a lot of detail is lost here, partially because it was out of focus, and partially because the noise in the image just killed the detail. But I think it still really did an amazing job. You know, like, you know, it kind of brought a lot of the detail back in the hair. Looks like it over sharpened slightly here. So it's not perfect, but it's really pretty amazing. Yes, if it's green, you can download. Yeah. Anyway, pretty amazing. And if you just back off, I think the image is definitely a lot better, you know, than it was. Yeah, not bad, usable. I mean, most of the detail is here in the street. I mean, it looks like it focused on the tail. And then, so it back focused a little bit relative to the fox's face. I was thinking it focused on this car, but it's actually, it's focused more on the chest and the tail. So it's back focused slightly. Because I bet, like, look at the detail here in the neck. I guarantee if it didn't back focus slightly, it would have definitely caught, you know, it had definitely made a really nice sharp image for the fox's face. Okay, let me just check the studio. I think we're good. So what we need to do now is just look at the viewer edits of my high ISO image. Yeah, it saw contrast way behind. So yeah, the artificial intelligence is definitely doing a great job, but sometimes it's a little off, right? Just a little. All right, so the original image was, let me see, my drive. I'll show you the original. Here it is. So here's the original. And this is, I believe this was at ISO 6400. But you can see a lot of noise. Yeah, it's mostly color noise. And then some of the details obviously are going to be lost, especially in the finer areas of the feather. And this highlight is totally blown. Although I think I was able to recover a little bit when I was processing it. I don't know. I don't think I've downloaded this. I have it somewhere. I'll just put, okay. Synchronize. Go to folder. All right, so let's see the first one here. This was done with now Affinity. I hear a lot of good things too, right? Wow, you know, I love the vignetting, and yeah, you recovered the highlights here on the chest. Really nice, and looks like there's some brushing going on. Like you missed a couple of spots, but you definitely did some heavy what do you call it? Heavy luminance reduction, because we lost a lot of the very fine details. Either that or it was intentional and you went for more of a painted look. But for the most part, I think this looks really good without pixel peeping into like just like one of these feathers. I think it's pretty awesome edit. You really stay true to the white balance that was in the scene, because to the naked eye, this is how it looked to me. And I like the specular in the eye. This is an awesome edit. And you didn't crop in at all that I can tell. So this is awesome. Who did this one? Marcel, of course. Good job, Marcel. Really awesome edit. Plasticky. Yeah, that's the word. So a lot of people don't like that, particularly with portraits, like people's faces. They don't like that, you know, plasticky doll face look, right? But I think for an image like this, it's fine, you know. I think this will even print pretty nice. All right, and this one here, nice black and white. Good job with the tones. You left the grain in, it looks like. Definitely, maybe added some grain. And when you go black and white, it's okay if these highlights are clipped, because you want to get that sort of filmic look. And, you know, generally film doesn't clip highlights, but all the film emulations that you see for digital to film, they're always clipping highlights. But I think it works in this case. I think this is a great edit. I'd have liked a little more vignette, personally, just to make it a little more vintage, but this is nice. Let's see who did this one. Oh, Matt did this one. Okay, good job, Matt. Good job. But I think you definitely, oh, how is it? ISO 16,000. Okay, thank you, John. We'll definitely process that one in DXO. We'll take a look, but I want to see what you guys did first. This is a good crop. Nice and tight. I like it. And there's still room. Let me look at this full screen. There's still good room around the subject itself. But you got rid of all the other distractions, and now the focus is on just this bird looking at you. I like that. I think this is my favorite one so far. And how'd you do with the noise and everything? Really good. I mean, there's still good detail down here in the feathers and stuff. I don't know why it's punching in that close, but yeah, really good job. I could artificially sharpen it a little more, but it doesn't really need more for printing or displaying on a screen. And it's soft too, and there's a little bit of tinting. It's not truly black and white. There's kind of a magenta tint to it. So this is maybe split tone a little bit, because the shadows look a little bluish. So it looks like a little bluish in the shadows and a little bit of magenta in the highlights. I could be off with my dying eyes, but it's very pleasant. Raho, excellent job, Raho. This is, I think this is my favorite. Okay, here's one that's definitely went for the painted look, right? So that's one way to get rid of noise, is to go for an oil painting look. And I think this is pretty convincing. One or two parts, not so much. But otherwise, it's, you know, when you first look at it, it's pretty convincing conversion to an oil painting. Yeah. It's almost abstract in some ways, right? After seeing the one from Raho, though, I really like the tighter crops. But yeah, this is a great edit too. I like this. It's so different. Oh, Topaz as a plugin to Infinity. Okay. That's cool. So that you use Topaz on this image? It did a good job. It really did. That's pretty impressive. I'll have to do it in Deep Prime and see what happens. But yeah, I like this. Who did this one? This was from Joni. Okay, awesome, Joni. Really nice. I would have, you know, if you're going for an oil painting look, I would have liked a little more color. I can see some colors in here and here. I think if you added a little more color, it'd have been much more convincing. I think that's what's kind of pulling it back a little bit is the lack of color. Uh, if you're going for that oil painting look, but as it is, it looks really good. 4 minutes to edit. Yeah, back like what I used to do, right? Remember my 4 minute edit sessions? I'm gonna get back to that eventually, but I just today I couldn't obviously because I'm fumbling with Photolab. Wow, this is very psychedelic. Now my head is buzzing. This is cool. Square crop and yeah, obviously no attempt to get rid of noise. If anything, noise has been added to some extent. Very colorful. Let me look at this full screen. Um, yeah, definitely got a psychedelic vibe to it, like from the 1960s when they used to like show people that were getting high or whatever. They would have all these weird colors going around in the room. This is kind of cool. Who did this one? Scott Mumford. DXO PureRaw trial expired. Ah, too bad. If you liked it, you should consider getting it though. I think it's really cool. But this is a cool letter, very psychedelic. All right, another good clean black and white square crop. I like it. I like, I'm just partial to black and white. I don't know why. Really good job with the noise reduction. Tiny bit of over sharpening artifacts here. Just the tiniest bit, you know? But that's only when you pixel peep at 100%, right? This is excellent. Excellent noise reduction and good retention of details and good tones on the black and white. This is a great edit. Yeah, definitely clean this up. I mean, remember, this was an ISO 16,000, right? Let me just double check. Yeah, ISO 16,000. That's crazy. And then look how clean that is. Really good. Let's see. Ivan. Good job, Ivan. The Jefferson airplane era. That's right. Ooh, soft focus. Man, I haven't done this in a while. I used to be really into soft focus. Wow. I like the crop. I wish the crop I'm not crazy about, but I like the effect overall. I get it because there was a bird over here on the right side, right? That was in the frame. Um, but let's see how he did on the noise. So it looks like you did a little denoising and then added a little sharpening because I see some sharpening artifacts. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a soft focus. But the way it's processed, I feel like there was some uh, sharpening added with a strong denoise and then soft focus. But overall, yeah, the image is very soft, which is definitely a different way to go, but it looks good. And this was Garrett. Okay, Garrett, good job. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, yeah, a little bit of sepia, right? Wouldn't hurt. I mean, I can pull in just a tiny bit of sepia. Where's the there, just a touch of sepia. That looks good. That adds a little bit to the image, right? Okay. Jason just did an Affinity Photo tone map. Yeah, I have to figure out all these features. I don't use Affinity Photo, but tone mapping I see everywhere. So I'm sure it's in everything that I have, Lightroom and Photolab. But anyway, yeah, nice little vignette. I always like that. Really good colors. Very muted. Oh, Joni said you reduced the color on purpose. Yeah, clearly, but yeah, it probably would look better. Like I said, I'd have to see it side by side. The one with a little color added and a little color subtracted, and then I might have come to the same subjective reasoning you did, that you just felt like it looked better without as much color. But I like the color processing here. The very subtle tones between all the browns are kind of predominant here, right? That's cool. Who did this one? Well, let's do a quick pixel peep. Yeah, definitely sharpening artifacts, strong noise reduction, but looks good. Really, really good job editing this one. Getting rid of the noise and keeping the detail at a level that makes sense when you're looking at it normal viewing levels, right? I mean, you can go crazy sharpening and it won't look good, you know, for certain viewing. It won't look good when you pixel people. When you back off, it looks really good, right? It's long story short. This is from HKM. Good job, HK. Yeah. I like what you did with the coloring the most. I feel like the colors here are very, I don't know, the tones are really good. And there's just a hint of like teal, right? Right here. I like that. It's really, you really did a good job with the colors here. The duck was not at peak performance. This is an aperture. Okay. Wow, that's an oldie. I think that's on Apple only too, right? Is aperture even still around? I don't know. But anyway, so we have a circular blurred vignette. That's interesting. Let me pull this up full screen. I think excuse me. I think that blurring on the left and right, if you didn't do that, this would be, the blurring effect would work better. I'm not crazy about it going all the way around the image. But other than that, I like the processing. In this case, it looks like you separated some of the oranges with the brown instead of like what HK did, where he made everything more brown. There's a little more separation here. And then, yeah, strong luminance reduction. Clearly, I don't know if you did some brushing. When you pixel peep, you can see, you know, the editing artifacts, right? Definitely some brushing going on by hand. But like I said, when you back off, it's fine, right? I didn't notice this one line right here until I punched in this line here. Now I can see it when I'm not punched in, but just looking at the image, you know, I didn't really notice it. But yeah, nice clean edit, you know, very different. This was from Marcel again. Okay, Marcel, good job. So the only thing is this circular blur vignette is, I might, you know, I'll go in phases, right? I might start to like things like this later, but for me, the blurring on the sides is a little bit off. Aerochrome effect, okay. Aperture's been gone at least a year. Oh, you're still here, David. How you doing? I recruited another person to come to the photo club. I met them yesterday on one of my I went to Alexandria yesterday for a photo walk. And I told her she should come out this weekend. Her name's Martha. So if you see a new member, her name is Martha. You know, I sent her. She needs to get a new camera. Her Canon was really flaky. Okay, this is some hardcore sharpening, right? Interesting. But you did a good job. Like, I think, and I'm sorry for focusing on pixel peeping. I don't normally pixel peep, but like I said, this is kind of a high ISO type focus. Yeah, when you pixel peep, the sharpening is a little bit strong, but when you back off and look at it like at a normal viewing, I think it's fine. Still a little bit too sharp, a little bit over sharpened maybe. Even at a normal viewing distance, this feels a tiny bit too crispy. But, you know, good job reducing all the noise in the background. This is pretty awesome back here. Very smooth. Up here, yeah, really good. Yeah, I know. Whoops. And this one, is this the original? Yeah, this is the original image. So let's just punch in real quick and look at the noise. Yeah. All right. And then this is a cool abstract of just the feather somewhere on this bird. I like this. Definitely would have never crossed my mind to do something like this. This is awesome. And the framing and everything. This pink frame going with the colors. Really good job with the colors, right? There's slight, like, kind of a greenish tone with some reds in there. And then you have this peachy white frame. This is cool. From Serge. Awesome job, Serge. This is an awesome edit. Okay. All right. I'll take a look, David. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to download David's and then we'll edit this one using DXO Prime, the original, and see how it compares. Let's see. Oh, okay. Good. I'm going to just look at it right here. Ooh, nice. I love the vignetting. Really good job taking out all of the noise. And a lot of details still there. It's a little bit over here on the left. The details are totally gone. So, but as we get into the other side of the bird here, a lot of the details really got retained well. Like right in here is really good. All around the eyes. This is an awesome edit. Like, nobody would complain with an edit like this, considering where we started at 16,000 ISO, right? And like I said, at a normal viewing, you know, on a computer or even as a print, I think this would come out really nice. Wow. Okay. I'm going to edit my own picture real quick. This is great, Dave. Thanks. Um, is my picture even in here now? Let me go up and, oh, it was in the viewer edits folder, right? So here's the original. So I will just do a quick deep prime and add some sharpness back in. Let me see how we're doing on the eye. I think Workspace should adopt this idea where it only does all the processing in this little window instead of the entire image to speed up the processing. I think I can do a little more sharpening. I don't want to do so much, but okay. And then I like that crop from before. I forget who did it, but I'm going to try it at 5x4. Oops. Oh, did you send another one, Dave, or DeMorgan? I didn't see it. And then Steve Page is missing too, huh? All right, I'll go back and look for them. I really like that tight crop someone else did. It wasn't feathers or anything. It was just right in here. And then they went. So I'm going to do that. Yeah. I don't know why when I do it, it doesn't look right. All right, let me try and separate some of the colors here. Okay, you resent it. Okay, I'll take a look, DeMorkan. And let's try a portrait. Get it pastel-y. What the Fujis? The Superiors? No. Elite color. Okay, that works. Crank that up. And then I need to... Let me cool this off a little bit. And then one last thing, just a little vignette. Not that one, this one. All right, good enough. Maybe black and white. Let's try HP4. HP5 is too soft. How about a Tri-X? Nah. We'll leave it on generic. All right, let's just export that. And then let's see. Steve Page. Wow, pretty sweet. And then why isn't it prompting me where to save it? I assume it's saving to the right folder. Okay, let's do... I only found one more. This finished? Yeah, this finished. That's the edit I just did. Synchronize this folder. Where did it go? Dang it. I hate when frickin'... Why does Google Drive do that? When I right-click download, it should ask me where to download it to, instead of pulling up that. Why isn't it showing in the downloads folder? Download. Well, all right. Wow. Let's just look at it with our fan view then. Wow. That's some hardcore sharpening. little bit too much sharpening, but you know, like at a normal viewing, it looks great. But I think that sharpening's really strong. My goodness, it works well for the foliage down here. All these weeds or whatever that is, seaweed. But man, it's not working on that goose too well. Just a little bit too strong. This is from Steve Page. Okay. And then John follows. Oh, this is nice. Yeah. This is definitely a really good starting point. Look at how the noise is all gone and really brought the details back. I mean, you could sharpen more, but then it gets to the point to where it starts to look like the one Steve Page sent in. I think we can go just a tiny bit more on the sharpening side, but there's not really any need to. As is, this is really clean. I don't know how. It's just amazing what you can do with a picture at 16,000 ISO. I never, you know, I never tried to reduce noise. You know, I just dealt with it in a way that, you know, it's there, and I just, you know, I didn't worry about it too much. But now that I know what's possible, it's making me think that I want to process my images more now, because the results I'm getting by processing are pretty amazing. All right, let's look at the one I just edited, the before and after. What happened to my chat window? Robtrek DXO then needs brushed out in Affinity. I'm not sure what you mean, John. But here's, let's swap it. Here's the before and after. Oops, let me unlock this. Yeah, I should have worked harder to recover these highlights, but they did come back a little bit. But there's the before and after with DX Deep Prime. It's really good. Like I said, it's really good at not jacking up the background while sharpening the foreground or things that are in focus. And it's, oh, all right, Garrett, we'll see you later. Thanks for coming in. I know it's really late or early or something. It's like a really weird time for a lot of you. I'm just so amazed at this, but I think Rob Wong always suggesting that we worry less about ISO than we do. Yeah, I'm with Robin on that. I don't worry about it too much. But now, like I said, now that I can see what is really possible, I'm like, well, if I can click a few buttons, why not? You know, process it. I'm not going to push it too hard. I'm going to push DXO Photolab 4 for the next few days because it's 30% off. And I think at that kind of price, whether it's $90 or $150, I think you should really go for the $150 one. And then it's not outrageously expensive, right? Not that it was expensive before, but you know, it was $200 before. Now it's 150. That's pretty substantial difference. I think at that price it's pretty good. So I'm going to try and make a video and push that for my affiliate money best I can. But it's not unsincere. I'm very sincere when I say I'm really impressed with this software, and I think it's worth the money. So and I think Steve Page would agree. But yeah, gosh, look at that. It's just amazing what was done. I mean, I think if I took a little more time editing this image, I would get it to where I really like it, you know? All right, so let's call it here. Let me read the last few comments. Lysippus says, the thing I've learned today is that noise is manageable on MFT. We should have confidence in our investment. Yes. Yeah, revisit some of your, yeah, I'm definitely going to do some full frame comparisons. You know, basically what I'm finding is that you're getting back about 2 stops of noise reduction. Is if I had to just guess, it's about 2 stops better, which brings your micro four thirds up to what a full frame can do natively, right? Now that, you know, obviously you can process the full frame images, which I did show a couple of those in my blog. I haven't created a video yet though. But in my blog, I did have some 200,000 ISO images that you can look at. But once I make the video for DXO, I'll have full res images that you can download and play with, or look at. You don't need to play with them, but you can look at them, download them if you want. But yeah, so I'm gonna work hard to make that video for this before this weekend, where I'll do some analysis, and hopefully my workflow will be a little smoother than it was today during the stream. So let's see. DeMorgan says, still skipped all around mine. It was there, straight edit. Oh, all right. Hold on. Let me look. Hey, Darko, how are you? I'm doing well, thanks. I hope you're doing well. How could I miss your edit? Let me go to the file folder. I mean, I'm just hitting the tab. Let me just look at the details. Feather abstract. Ivan. Oh, here. Why is that not showing? Yeah, I did look at this one. Yeah, this is a good clean edit. Just a tiny, yeah, I remember talking about this. I think I was just saying that it felt like it was just slightly over sharpened, and if you backed it off a little bit, it would look good. And I really like the muted colors. Again, you kind of went with all the browns instead of separating the oranges and the browns. And I remember in the last stream you were telling me that I should really look at subtle differences in tones in the colors instead of just going with black and white. Because when I see very muted colors like this, my go-to is to go black and white. But you had mentioned in the last week's stream that I should really see the colors and the subtle differences in the colors. And I think about that now every time I go out on a photo walk. So I'm not, so I definitely took that advice to heart to really look at the subtle tones in the colors. And it's taken some getting used to because I'm still not seeing images. I'm seeing it here in this image, the way you edit it. And I see what you mean now. But when I was out on my photo walk yesterday, I didn't have that sense. I just was not, I had to retrain my eye a little bit to see the colors and not see black and white. Because as soon as I see muted colors, I'm automatically, my brain clicks into what would this look like in black and white? How can I adjust the tones? Blah blah blah. So I'm definitely taking your advice to heart, DeMorgan. And I have the other notes here about going to a place without my camera to just do some scouting and look at the scenes. I'm still not doing that yet, but I didn't forget about it because I always I always, I have a button here for something. Yeah. I definitely always take all the advice you guys give me to heart. And I never, oops, I lost the chat window. John McCormick says, oh, hey, Nigel. And John says, I use DXO Prime, warmed up Brian's chest and cloned out. I don't know. I don't see it. Let me see. You said yours is, John McCormick says it's a DXO Prime, so it would be exported normally as a DNG. Just looking here. I don't see it. HCAM. Yeah, sorry. And over here, I don't see it here either. Jeff Painter. Yeah, it's not here, John. I don't see it. Sorry. I need to get back to the right window. Who wants to see my Google Drive? Nobody. No. Control 4. There we go. Okay, but I will, am I back? Yeah. I definitely take everyone's advice to heart because I know a lot of you have a lot more experience than I do. So I appreciate it. And I'm going to do my best to always give you my best when I do my vlogs or when I do my, you know, tutorials and all of that. So I'm going to do, like I said, I have a vlog that I'm going to post tonight if I finish it. And then I'm going to do a video on DXO Prime and Photolab 4 as soon as I work out my workflow a little bit. And then maybe do a comparison with Topaz. But like I said, the few things I've seen with Topaz is it's pretty much the same thing. It's doing just as good a job. If it's doing a better job or worse job, it's by a hair. You know, it's very subtle. Not enough for. I think at that point you just pick whichever one gives you the best deal. You know, if you can save a little money with Topaz, buy that. If you can save a little money with Deep Prime or PureRaw, buy that one instead. But okay, I'm going to wrap it up here. I really appreciate you guys being here today, spending more than 2 hours as always with these primes. But I'm going to try and do some more special edition type photo editing things. Hopefully they won't be quite as awkward as the one today, but I'm going to do some more. I'll give some thought to some interesting ideas on that. But I'll be back on Sunday with my normal photo chat live stream. So I hope to see you guys all there. Thanks again. We'll see you again soon.